Hello and welcome. My name is a chat series hosted by the U.S. Embassy in Islamabad. So tune in every final Thursday.
You are trying very hard to learn. Did you know I can speak Pashto as well? I can enter.
A little bit of Urdu, but you always help me when we have to have more complicated conversations, and I always really appreciate it. So, as you might know, one of the most important reasons that there are U.S. embassies and consulates around the world is to help United States citizens.
Yes.
So we are the U.S. government presence in different countries where you might visit, and we want you to know that we are always there to help you if it's needed. What do you think? I think we should start our presentation maybe with an advertisement.
Yes, sure. Please, go ahead.
Sure. So we would really want to start by encouraging all U.S. citizens who are in Pakistan or who are considering traveling to enroll in the STEP. The might be updated information about travel and security.
Yes. It also helps family and friends get in touch with you in an emergency.
Mm-hmm. We already have a set way to be able to communicate with you if it's needed. So while we start talking about some of the services we have, why don't you just take down this information?
Yeah. American citizens living in Pakistan, they can contact us. If they are living in Islamabad and Peshawar, they can contact us through the phone number which you can see on the screen. You can also send an email through acsislamabad@state.gov. If you are living in Karachi and Sindh area, you can send an email through acskarachi@state.gov. But if you are living in Punjab, in Lahore, you can shoot an email through acslahore@state.gov.
Yes, and we have these numbers up. I really hope you'll take them down. I know everyone here is pretty tech savvy if you're tuning in, so just put them into your phone so you always have them on hand if you need them. So these are phone numbers you can call if you ever have a question related to services we provide to U.S. citizens. You can call during the day. You can also call at night if you have an emergency, but you will wake someone up if you do that. So please do only call if you are a U.S. citizen experiencing an emergency. So please don't call just to tell us, what a good job we did on this consular chat later tonight.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah. So let's go over some services and some tips. So first of all, I hope if you take nothing else away from this presentation, it's that we are out here to help you. What is one of the most common things that we find, problems that we find Americans have is that while they're traveling, their passport gets lost or stolen.
Yes, they should immediately report to the U.S. Embassy so that we can cancel the passport so that nobody else can travel on that passport. They can also file FIR at a local police station to secure themselves.
Yeah, so it's always good, as soon as you know it's lost or stolen, report it. And once you have reported that it's been lost or stolen, no one will be able to travel on your passport, including you. So even if you find it later, make sure you make an appointment at the U.S. Embassy to get a new one, because we would never want you to not be able to take a trip, that you're excited about because you don't have a passport. We also want to help you, and this is just true all around the world. We always want U.S. citizens to be able to get back home to the United States. Isn't that right? We help a lot of people with this, don't we, Raheel?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, if you are unable to get home just because of a lack of money, we want you to reach out to us by that email address, and we can start talking through some options for you. And since that, I think, is such an important point, maybe if you want to make sure everyone understands in Urdu as well.
Yes. हम हर अमरीकी शहरी के लिए मुमकिन बनाते हैं कि अगर उसको अमरीका जाने की ज़रूरत हो तो उसको हर मुमकिन तरीके से पासपोर्ट इशू करें। तो आप जब हमसे राबिता करें और अपॉइंटमेंट बनाएं तो हम इमरजेंसी पासपोर्ट भी इशू करते हैं ज़रूरत के तहत.
We also want to know and to help if there has been an arrest of a U.S. citizen in Pakistan or in another country, or if there has been a death. And on a slightly maybe more boring note, we can also help you navigate some of the U.S. government services. So we're a good kind of first point of contact if you have a question, for example, how do I collect my Social Security income? And Raheel, you work with people very regularly on that, don't you?
Yes, we do provide the Social Security services at Islamabad Embassy. The embassy does not process claims for Social Security, but can assist you with forms and other information. So you may also wish to visit the Social Security Administration website, which is ssa.gov. The nearest Social Security Administration office serving East and South Asia is in Manila, Philippines.
Yeah, but we know that's far away, so we want to help you understand what you need to do to access your benefits. We can also help you with voting when it's the right time of the year, which is kind of very exciting, I think.
Yes.
So just getting to some kind of basic, tips and tricks that we find help people to have a much better travel experience. One is to just know what your travel documents are and to keep photocopies of them, right? So, for example, if you're a U.S. citizen, you would have entered Pakistan likely on your U.S. passport, and that would mean you either had a visa, which means you were given a limited amount of time to stay in Pakistan, or you might have an identity card issued by the government of Pakistan. But it's really important to, always know where those documents are, keep them in a safe place, know that you are within the time you're supposed to be in Pakistan, and to keep photocopies.
हम आप लोगों को चंद तजावीज़ देना चाहते हैं. आप लोग अपने पासपोर्ट और वीज़ा पेज की फ़ोटोकॉपीज़ हमेशा अपने पास महफूज रखें और आप हमेशा चेक करें कि आपका पासपोर्ट कहीं एक्सपायर तो नहीं हो रहा. अगर एक्सपायर हो रहा है तो अपने नियरेस्ट काउंसलेट या एम्बेसी को कांटेक्ट करके अपॉइंटमेंट बना लें.
Now, let's go to one of my kind of favorite topics, and now we're kind of getting more into these routine services. So in order to come to the embassy for these routine services, you'll make an appointment on our website. So that is either to get a notary service done if you have a transaction you need to do in the United States, to get a passport, or to report the birth of your child abroad, including in Pakistan, which is our next topic. So this is one of my favorite parts of work is we get to see all of these cute little kids and babies, don't we, in our work?
Yeah, they are always crying in the waiting room.
It's very loud.
Yes, very loud.
And it's fun when the parents come when there are like 3 children and 2 parents, and they're trying to both keep the children straight and sign their documents. It's always a little bit of a challenge, but we have a good time. Yeah. And so we have, for the consular report of birth abroad, so this is what you come to report that, hey, I'm a U.S. citizen, and I'm reporting that my child was born abroad when my child can also qualify to be a U.S. citizen. So even if your child is not born in the United States, your child may have been born as a U.S. citizen. So this is a pretty complex topic. We have a whole video devoted to it, because if we were to go into detail now, we'd take the whole time. So the guy on the right in this slide is our colleague Saad, and he's kind of a celebrity now, isn't he? Yeah,
he's an internet celebrity now. He's very famous.
Yeah, he gets recognized sometimes just for being in this video. No, we're just kidding. But they did a very good job. This explains all of the different steps, and there are a lot of documents. So if you get everything just right, you will be like a superstar to us, and it'll make everything a lot easier. But without going into too much detail, I'll say in this appointment, a lot of what we will focus on is showing the time that you spent in the U.S. before your child was born.
Yes.
So it's very important to bring documents. So that might be your old passports, your Social Security earning statements, utility bills, college transcripts, It's about building a picture to show, hey, you know, this person in front of me has spent, you know, the amount of time needed in the U.S. before the child was born to be able to transmit citizenship. So maybe in Urdu as well.
काउंसलर रिपोर्ट ऑफ बर्थ अब्रॉड में एक अमेरिकी शहरी अपने बच्चों को अमेरिकन एम्बेसी या काउंसलेट के थ्रू रजिस्टर्ड कराते हैं। जब आप यूएस एम्बेसी तशरीफ़ लाते हैं तो आप अपने डॉक्यूमेंट्स कंप्लीट करके लाएं और हम आपको तजवीज़ देते हैं कि हमारे यूएस एम्बेसी के वेबसाइट पे और हमारे फेसबुक पे पाकिस्तान एसीएस पे एक क्रोबा काउंसलर रिपोर्ट ऑफ बर्थ अब्रॉड की वीडियो मौजूद हैं जिसमें सारे इंस्ट्रक्शन कंप्लीट डिटेल के साथ मौजूद हैं। हम आपको तजवीज़ दें कि आने से पहले आप वो वीडियो देख लें ताकि आपको डॉक्यूमेंट्री रिक्वायरमेंट्स का पता चल जाए।
All right, so we've done a lot of talking, so I think it's good to take a break and have a trivia question.
Yeah, it's a so interesting part.
You have a trivia question for us. Tell us the question.
Yeah, the question is how many U.S. passports were issued last year around the world? Can you guess?
Oh gosh, so this is any passport that was issued, a U.S. passport issued in the U.S. or like issued here in Pakistan or issued in France or wherever, right? So that's got to be a lot.
It's around the world. Yes.
Around the world. So maybe, I don't know, maybe 10,000?
No, it's you are.
No.
No, it's too small.
That's
you should
not
aim
enough.
big. Yeah, it's
Okay.
not enough.
Okay. Well, maybe 100,000?
No.
Too little? Okay.
Yeah,
well, why don't we let people guess, and we can maybe come back in a bit.
Yeah, that's right. Let the people guess, and let's see how they respond to this trivia.
Okay, we'll see who gets the closest answer. But speaking of passports, we have some kind of common tips we would have. So you've made your passport appointment online, and it's coming up. So what are your tips for knowing that kind of at the end of that appointment, we can say, okay, we can issue your passport and it will be coming in a couple weeks in the mail. What do people need to succeed? Yeah. So our first tip is, make sure you bring a passport photo. I think there's maybe a myth, right?
Yeah, this is a big myth that you don't need to bring a passport photo to the interview. Please do bring your passport photo with you to the embassy because we don't have a photographer at the embassy compound. And the passport background should be white or off-white. The photo size should be 2 by 2. If you forget, you can get photos at the bus station as well.
Yeah, and it adds a little time to your day. It's best to just bring the photo with you. And one, tip will say if you go to someone who sells services taking passport photographs and you say to them, hey, I want a passport photo, they're going to make you one that fits Pakistani requirements, right? So it's important that they know you need to take a photograph for a U.S. passport. Yeah.
Yes, and normally the Pakistani American citizen parents, they put color in their children's eyes. It's called surma in Urdu. Please don't put any surma color in the children's eyes while taking the photo, because then the photo will be rejected then.
Yeah, because if you think, when you're traveling with your baby or your baby's grown a little older, they need to be very clearly identified with that photo. So that's why we're unable to accept photos that have that. Another myth is that, you don't need to print and bring an application. Because, for the visa, you can submit that application online.
Yes.
But for passports, even though you can type it up on your computer, you do have to print it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we see that sometimes people get held up. So the visas are just a little more, that application process is maybe a little more into the tech future because you can submit online. But for the passport, you must bring that application physically with you. What's our next tip here? We have, so for children under 16, it's very important that we see both parents give permission for the passport, right? And so ideally, mom and dad, if you're both in Pakistan, you just come to the appointment together with your baby, everyone signs, you show us your identity documents and the birth certificate, and then we're set. But we understand sometimes let's say one of the parents is not in Pakistan, or they're not able to come to the appointment, it's okay we have a form for that. What's that form? It's the 3053?
Yeah, it's called Statement of Consent. It's DS3053. It's available online.
Yeah. And that is so we know that the other parent says, yes, it's okay, I understand that my child will get a passport and I'm okay with it. And that must be signed before a U.S. notary. And so you might say, well, what if my spouse is in Germany? Then how do I get this done?
Then you go to any nearest U.S. embassy or consulate to get it notarized from the consulate or embassy officials.
Yes, that's right. So it's fine if the other parent is even in a totally different country. Maybe they're in Japan. And then this is also a favorite part for me. So let's say for this next step, I am a mother coming with my daughter who is 6 years old, and the last passport she got issued, she was 9 months old. What should I make sure to do?
Please bring photos of your children to show how they have aged since their last photograph was taken. This is especially important if your child was a baby or toddler the last time, and then they had a passport issued. Sometimes 4 or 5 or 7 photos will enough to identify the children before the officer.
Yeah, so say I'm interviewing you, Raheel, and you have your son here with you.
Yes.
So it might be very obvious to you that your son in front of you is the same as that beautiful baby in the photo, and it's very obvious to you as the parent. But you have to think about it's someone who doesn't know the child looking and determining is this the same child. So it is fun, though, because I can see, if the parent has brought in a photo from when the child was 18 months old and then, 2 years old, 3 years old, you can see the child grow up over time. And sometimes just having, take the time to print a couple of photos off the internet or take a couple of photos from your albums, and that can make all the difference between, us saying, okay, well, we have a couple items pending before we can issue this, or being able to say, yes, this is done, the passport is great, we're all set, and it's going to come in 2 or 3 weeks. Sometimes parents do go, I will say, a little bit overboard, which is kind of funny. They'll bring, 200 pictures of their kid because they get very excited looking at the photos of their children, and then they bring, me 40 from the same day, same birthday party. It's more about finding a couple from over time that can show your child getting older. Yeah, so I would say, this accounts for a lot of the inconveniences we see for passport appointments.
Yes. हम आप लोगों को तजवीज़ देते हैं कि आप लोग अपने बच्चों की बढ़ती उम्र की तस्वीर साथ लाएं, जिसमें हम अमेरिकन ऑफिसर को पता चले कि आपका बच्चा साल ब साल बड़ा हो रहा है, तो इससे ऑफिसर को आपके बच्चे को पहचानने में आसानी होती है.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Before we go show the answer, let's see some guesses we had. How many passports were issued around the world in 2016? Let's see. We have Zubair says 2 million passports. Is that right?
No.
What is it? Is it too big? Too small?
Too small. It's too small.
Oh, you know what? I think have all the guesses we got were too small, I think. I think we see Gulam says 40,000 passports.
It's too little.
Too little. And we see Ali Abbas says 1.5 million passports.
Yeah, it's too little.
Way too little. Okay, well, we've kept ourselves in suspense. So how many is it?
John, can you guess how many? Can you tell us?
I don't know, 100 million.
No, it's too much. It's huge.
It's too much. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's the answer then, Raheel?
The correct answer is 18.7 million passports and cards being issued around the world.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a lot of passports.
Yes.
That's a lot of passport appointments that are happening every day in Pakistan, in the U.S., in Canada, all around the world.
Yes.
Great. So I think maybe we've presented a lot. When we take some questions that people have, and while we do that, we can show you our some resources we have. So this is just a little advertisement. Right now you are on the Facebook page for the embassy overall, but we actually have one that is specialized with messages that might be of particular interest to American citizens or United States citizens that are abroad. So it's called American Citizen Services, and you can find it in Facebook just searching at Pakistan ACS. Okay, so let's take a question. Okay, here's a common question we get. Atifa asks, she says she wants to come and renew a U.S. passport. How does she do that?
She needs to make an appointment online through the embassy website. She needs to take a printout of the passport application. She should look at the passport which she is right now. Either you have to download the form DS82 or DS11 based on your previous passport. If you are carrying a passport of 10-year validity, then you need to fill out DS82. Mm-hmm. If you are having a passport of 5-year validity, then you need to fill out a DS11 form.
Yeah, so for most adults, if you have previously had a passport as an adult, you have a shorter form, unless it's been lost or there's another complication. But it's very important that you bring that prior passport with you to the interview so that we know that it wasn't lost or stolen. So it's a pretty simple process. You make the appointment, figure out which form, and then make sure you bring that passport with you. Okay, let's see. Oh, we are getting a lot of questions actually about non-immigrant visas. So we'll keep looking for any ones related to American Citizen Services. But until we get a couple more of those, we'll have our colleague Abdel come in and answer some of the non-immigrant visa questions. I do see one that asks about how long it takes to get a passport. So after your appointment, it should take about 2 to 3 weeks after we've told you that we have everything we need and the passport has been approved. And you'll get an email and potentially a follow-up phone call. But if you've been waiting longer, it probably means that we had asked you to provide additional information that we're still waiting for. So if you are not sure and you have already had your appointment, please go ahead and feel free to email the address that's relevant to where you had your interview. So if you interviewed in Lahore, you would write to ACS Lahore. If you interviewed in Islamabad, you would write to ACS Islamabad. Okay, we would recommend if you think your child looks a little bit different. We expect babies to grow, so we know that, if your baby was 3 months old and now the baby's 8 months old, that's okay. If you are worried that it looks a little different, it's fine to bring some photographs with you when you travel, too, and other supporting kind of documents. But no, we expect children will grow. But that said, when your child is, let's say, 4 and you've planned ahead and you're getting that next passport, then we'll want to see some photos of your child growing up. And I do think that sometimes the parents have a fun time pulling those together from what I've seen. Let's see. Okay, so now we're going to have Abdel come in and answer some questions on visas because that's what he works in.
Hi. Well, thank you very much, and welcome everyone who's listening to us here today. I'm glad to be back here in our monthly consular chats. And I know you've been talking a little bit about American Citizen Services, but we have lots of questions about our visa processing and our visa section too. So I want to first take Sheik's question, and he says, what do I need for an F1 visa? And I have to say that, Joanne, that we get a lot of F1 applicants. F1 applicants are wanting to study all over the United States. And currently, Pakistan has over 6,800 students studying in the United States.
That's a lot. Wow.
Yes, it's definitely a great number. And we want to help increase that connectivity between Pakistan and the United States. So to Sheikh, I say if you are a student interested in going to study in the United States, you should get in touch with a university in the United States, see what the requirements are. You can apply to the school, and once you have been issued your I-20, you can come in for a visa interview.
So is it true that by the time you're coming in for your student visa interview, you already know what school you would go to, right?
Correct. By that time, you've done your research. We recommend all the students to do their research, to come prepared to the interview with the I-20 that's issued by the university. And then during the interview, you're going to speak with an officer about why are you interested in studying in the United States, why are you interested in this career, and what are your plans after graduation. And so we are looking forward to seeing all of you interested in student visa applicants at the embassy. Now, I see that we also have another question that says, Hassan, he asks, my wife and I live in Pakistan now, and we have a green card that is expired. So do I surrender the green card, or do I get a visa? And this is a very good question. We get this all the time. We understand that sometimes you change your plans in life, and you return to Pakistan, and you start to live in Pakistan. So if your green card is expired, you do have the option to come to the embassy and apply for a visa to go to the United States. The officer will evaluate your circumstances, and if you are going to surrender your green card, know that the officer will then have to make a determination about your ties to Pakistan, your social, your professional ties, your economic ties in Pakistan.
Okay, so if you have been a legal permanent resident, but you're back in Pakistan, say, 10 years, and you want to go to visit Disneyland, you can apply for a tourist visa, but you would have to get evaluated just like any other tourist. Okay.
Correct, just like any other applicant, and in fact, we are going to ask you to surrender your green card at that point, okay? But we encourage, of course, folks to go visit their families, and I know that we've received a question regarding an applicant who says, my dad is sick in the United States, and I want to go visit him. We definitely, ask you to come and apply. Now, keep in mind that we do evaluate all the applicants on the same level. We evaluate based on your professional, your social, and your economic ties here to Pakistan. So keep that in mind as you're applying, okay?
One thing I would just add regarding the question for legal permanent residents is that the American Citizen Services Unit works just with American citizens. So if you run into an issue with your legal permanent resident card, that would be kind of other parts of the consular section you would talk about, but it isn't an emergency, for example, that we could deal with over the phone.
Great. So I know that there's another question here for you all in ACS.
Okay, so this is about U.S. citizens visiting Pakistan. So we encourage you to go onto our website to look at the information we have available on Pakistan. But I would go back to our kind of first advertisement, which is make sure that you enroll in STEP, the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, because that is, and that is both for I'm living in Pakistan or I'm visiting, because it is a first step in us being able to, help you if you have an emergency.
Great, and I also want to encourage everyone who's going to go study in the U.S. or going to visit the U.S. to go to travel.state.gov, Joan, and get all the information regarding our visa process there. They can get information on what specific visa category they can get.
All right, and Raheel, maybe to wrap up, we can just go over again some of our resources we have. So the main one is, of course, that we've had on every slide is our embassy website. That's always a good first place to start.
Yes, and then if you want to have a specific question to contact the American Citizen Services Unit, you can email us through acsislamabad@state.gov. You can also visit our Facebook at Pakistan ACS.
Yes, so, we hope after tonight to have additional followers and likes on our American Citizen Services page. And go ahead, if you enjoy that video, go ahead and leave a comment for Saad. Okay, well, thank you. It's been great speaking with you tonight. Thank you for all your questions.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.